Welcome to the Deep Six podcast, where we make a generational impact on you and yours. What we do here is explore a 6-point model into your health, your life, and your journey while you're here. So let's dive deep and help you thrive, not just survive. Well, welcome again to the Deep Six. This is Dr. Lewerenz, the Chief Medical Officer at Longevity Health Institute that brings you this podcast and the Deep Six. And, our 6-point model is about a lot of good things, a lot of good science, a lot of good medicine, and to help you. And there's always, I like to have some feel-good stuff. So I have somebody here. You're kind of responsible that I'm here. I just realized that as I'm talking. And I did this in honor of Mother's Day, but I have my mom on the show. You want to say hi, Mom?
Hi. Hi there.
So listen, you did this after threats, right? I brought you on after.
Well,
slight.
I just tell you that's not my most
It's not your
favorite thing.
It's
to
not
do.
your thing. Yeah. But you're pretty good with me making you feel uncomfortable.
I'm used to it. Let's say that.
Okay, good. Well, anyway, so what's important today is because of Mother's Day that, Mother's Day week, we make it your week. In my house, right, we make it the week.
Oh, that's
Flowers, doting, as my wife would say, food tomorrow, right? A drink in a minute next door, okay? But I'm super excited for this podcast, and there will be stuff about your health and wellness and life that we always talk about. And so I will get to that, but I'm super excited that you're here. That's just what I want to say.
I'm excited to be here on this earth. Too.
On this earth. Wow.
On this earth, yes.
That is true. So speaking of that, 84 years in 2 months, right?
That's right.
84 years.
That's shocking.
It kind of shocks me a bit, to be honest with you.
Well, that means you're getting old too.
Whew, man, you have no idea. I mean, I had to get some stuff whacked off my head the other day, and it was like like whack-a-mole. By the way, no cancer either, but you just wake up. This is what happens. You wake up one day. You know this. You wake up and shit's just there. How does that happen?
I don't know, but it does happen, and I'm getting pretty used to it.
Yeah.
and actually comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Life, you change.
Yeah. You just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Well, I love you to death, and I'm very grateful that you're here. I'm being very serious, and because this is out of your comfort zone. But we say something here on the podcast, and it's medicine, but it's getting comfortable doing uncomfortable things, and the reason is because it's good for your brain. It really is.
Really?
Yeah, doing things that kind of stress your brain, and are challenging a bit. Just like you know this. In fact, you were playing just a minute ago. You said you were playing
Scrabble.
Scrabble, yeah.
And it's good. It keeps you.
Yeah. So I'm making you uncomfortable to keep you good.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Jim.
you're welcome. I appreciate you. So anyway, so let's. I start with a quote sometimes on the podcast. I thought, and I literally looked this up for you because I thought this was very relative to you, and I do believe I got this from you. I sure as hell didn't get it from Dad, and that is gratitude. But I want to say a quote, which is, "Some people are always grumbling because of roses have thorns. I am thankful that thorns have roses." And that's from somebody called Alfonso Carn. And then the next one is, which is a lead to it, which I just love, is gratitude is not only the greatest virtues, but is the parent of all others. So tell me about that. Tell me about gratitude.
It wasn't always this way. I'm very aware now that every day is a gift. It is. It's the gift of being alive, waking up.
Yeah.
And healthy. Health. It's just so important. And I value it. And I value everybody in my life, and my family is just so important. Gratitude makes you happy.
Yeah.
It keeps you happy because there's always something to be grateful for. Always, every day.
Yeah. Love it. I love it. And that's actually this year. I don't even think you know this about your son. This year, I started doing something because every year I start a new little kind of personal growth thing, and I started a journal of gratitude. And every day I write down at least 3 things that I'm grateful for. And it can be as simple as my bed sheets. You know what I mean? I'm serious. Well, I mean, if I like them, as long as I like them, you know what I mean?
If they're clean.
Yeah, but I mean, I have Victoria on there a lot. My children, of course, you're on there. But no, but I mean, every day I write this stuff down. It could be big stuff too. It doesn't have to be so, but I think it brings us to center of being like, just loving life and being appreciative for things.
Every day is good.
I think I do get that from you organically. I really do.
I don't know if I had it all my life.
You didn't. I'm telling you, you didn't. 100%. 100% you didn't.
I don't think I did.
We'll get to those times in a minute here.
No, don't. That's all right.
Yeah. Well, okay. So what got you there then? What got you to
Just life experiences and just nobody's life is all smooth and perfect. And so sometimes you're just wrapped up in the things that are going on. But as you get older, you reflect back a lot of all the wonderful things in your life and the things that you've been so good and so wonderful. And I can't believe how grateful I am for all of that.
Did you think you'd be alive this long?
I never even thought about it.
Really?
When you're young, you don't think about how long
What do you
you're
think about
gonna
when
live.
you're young?
Yourself.
Yeah.
What's coming next? What fun thing is coming next?
That is very true. In fact, my buddy, somebody unfortunately, he's getting divorced, or he kind of just got divorced, and he was all worried about his kids. And his kids are basically college. They're, and I think one's a senior in high school. I don't mean to laugh about this, but he was all worried about it when we were talking about him. I said, your kids don't care. Your kids are worried about them right now. They're all into them. Just remember, you just keep them happy, keep them safe. Make sure they know you love them and all that.
But I understand that he would be worried about his kids because I'm amazed that
of course,
I have 3 sons that turned out as well as they did after divorce, because divorce is pretty tough on everybody.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. But at the time, 80% of the day, you're focused on yourself when you're a kid or you're high school or college or whatever. It's like, how's this going to affect me? I said, just remember, they're thinking, how's this affected me? By the way, I've talked to him since, and he's like, they're on my golf course at my country club every day now. I'm like, see, as long as their life didn't change,
right.
They're happy.
Well, life does change, and that's a fact, but it's so good.
Yeah.
You just have to make it as best you can each day.
Yeah. Great.
And enjoy it. There's fun in every day.
Mm-hmm. So you've had, when I thought about it, and I was just like kind of doing a little prep for this, you know what I mean? Most of my stuff's off the cuff, but most of our banter is always off the cuff, right?
Exactly.
And I'm not going to drop a lot of F-bombs. I'm going to clean it up for you. I'm going to be appropriate, okay?
I appreciate that.
Okay, I hope. But anyway, I thought about I'm like, your life that I know, a childhood and, Detroit growing up and, the farm. And, so share with us what that was like, because, you were on the right side of the tracks. Dad was on the wrong side of the tracks. So tell us just a little bit about that.
Well, I don't know what you're looking for exactly.
No, I know, but just what it was like compared to now. Like when you're a child growing up, I mean, it was a lot simpler, right? Life.
Well, my family was they kept us very tight, close-knit family. Mm-hmm. Family was everything. Mm-hmm. And, we were guided closely. Mm-hmm. Okay. I didn't think I had a lot of freedom. I didn't have a lot of choices. My parents just made a lot of decisions for us, and like going up to our farm every summer, it wasn't really my idea of a fun thing, but they thought it was good for us. And as I look back, it was. It was good for us.
Yeah, it was really good.
But I didn't have the freedom that most kids have. I had a good family is what I had.
Yeah. And then you met Dad.
He was a good person, too.
I'm joking. No, my dad was awesome. I love him.
He was.
God bless him. Rest his soul.
He was amazing.
But the truth is, right, when you brought him home, this guy from high school, he was, your parents weren't too happy at first.
No, they weren't. First of all, he came from a divorced family. My family, divorce was like, you don't go out with people that have come from divorced families. We were a tight-knit family, and that was the first strike against him.
Mm-hmm.
But they grew to love him.
Yeah.
He was very lovable.
Yeah, Grappa and him were tight, man.
Very.
They were super tight. They went on ski trips alone.
Your father had a lot of very wonderful qualities, and he was he was amazing.
Yeah, no, I mean,
and always fun. Yeah. Always fun times around him. But my family did grow to love him, mother and dad both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can you when you think about that, and then you ended up being a teacher, and gosh, what, Dearborn, right? Then Detroit, then later Houston, Texas, right?
Well, yeah.
Did I miss something?
I taught school in St. Clair Shores. The first job I had was in St. Clair Shores.
Mm-hmm.
And later I was in Detroit. I went to Texas and taught school there. I taught school in Missouri when your dad was in medical school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I got around.
Yeah. But those are, I mean, when you started, it was very different, right? In teaching and in school to that then to now.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, till now. I mean, when did you quit teaching?
I don't even know
15
the year,
years,
honey.
maybe.
At least.
Yeah.
More, maybe.
Okay. But it had to change and evolve and completely because
it was very different from when I first started out. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But teaching was a wonderful job. I mean, it as far as not income wise, but working with children.
This reminds me of driving here.
When
I said somebody's income, that we won't get into that, but I said somebody's income that I know of, and it's, and you go, I'd never sniffed that number.
I didn't even get half of that.
You didn't get half of that, and you're a teacher doing important stuff.
And I thought it was pretty important, and it was, and it was very rewarding.
And that conversation evolved from what you were bitching about your bill at lunch the other day. How can a lunch be $70, two of us? We didn't even have a drink. I'm like, I don't know where you went, but you didn't go to McDonald's.
No. Oh, just prices and everything have changed.
Yeah.
I feel like teachers surely didn't get paid what they should have.
They still don't. I mean, when you think about their impact and what they're doing, and how the influence and the imprint they have, it's
and
like...
there's the kids, I taught little ones, I have first graders, so they love their teacher, and I did feel like I made a difference.
There was a time, I want to say it was like 5th grade, that I did not love my teacher. Maybe 4th grade.
Oh, it happens sooner than
But
that.
you know why?
Why?
Because it was you. You subbed. Like, who does that? Who comes in and subs? You didn't even give me a heads up. I got in the car. We drove to school. You were at the school. Next thing I know, and then you're calling on me. I mean, that was like, I'm still dealing with that. I talk to my therapist about that all the time.
Oh my gosh. I probably did ruin you a little bit. I didn't mean to.
No, it's actually some of the fondest memories, but it is funny. It was like, that was definitely interesting having my mother in my school for a while, being a teacher. I couldn't get away with anything, man. I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Teaching in your school, I forgot. I taught at the private school that you guys went to.
Yeah.
Lutheran school.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, speaking of, I guess when I was younger, was there anything that sticks out that was, was I a real pain in the ass?
You and your brother.
Who? Which
Freddie,
one?
your brother, Fred. You two were easy.
We're easy. Wow. Am I still easy?
You're not hard.
Oh, good deal. All right.
You're certainly not hard.
I like this.
Except about this.
Oh,
you
yeah.
insisted.
I was not saying no. Yeah, well, because I listen, do we not have a very good relationship?
Well, you've helped me so much, I couldn't say no to you.
How have I helped you? We'll get into that. How have I helped you?
My health.
Oh, yeah.
I'm half the size, not half the size, but I've lost half of me.
Yeah.
I was feeling very old at 60, 70. I was feeling old. My balance wasn't good. I was walking. You guys were teasing me about the way I walked.
Well, that wouldn't have been me. Probably, I won't say
my
it.
younger
Yeah.
son.
He was probably laying into you
They
about
said
it.
I walk like a penguin.
So yeah, for the listeners, if you walk like a penguin, you got to go to your doctor or go to the trainer or go to the gym. You don't want to, walk like a penguin. That's.
I noticed my balance wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like I always knew I was overweight, but after, I don't know, it just seemed like I loved my food. I used food.
Did you use food as a kind of an emotional,
I'm sure that's what it was. But we always, in our family, we had some very good cooks. Mm-hmm. And my mother always put on wonderful meals for us. I mean, we never had a meal that didn't have meat and potatoes and vegetable and salad and dessert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of thing we had.
Right.
And so I was never thin, but...
Well, yes. Yeah, you were. What are you talking about? I've seen the pictures and remember you were playing tennis.
Well, yeah,
like a couple days a week, where I've seen the pictures. You were always thin.
But I got quite fat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Over 200 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And that definitely affected my ability to move around and walk and up and down and whatever. And it did affected my whole life, really.
Yeah, your quality of life. Yeah. Well, and that's something I say to our patients all the time is, and when I'm kind of coaching them, if you want to call it that, like at 55, 60, you can't go into your 60s, with thinking that it's very hard. Like you've had a big battle, not battle, I should say, but it's a harder climb. It's a harder, kind of to
I
recover.
felt like I wouldn't get anywhere with what I was doing until you helped me. And
but you have to get it. Like the best thing you can do is go into your, mid 50s, 60s with thinking that I'm building muscle. I'm, going to get fitter. I'm going to be better at, I always say you want to be better at 60 than you were at 50. You want to be better at 70 than you were at 60, just because we all age. Aging is a disease, and that's going to,
But you don't feel like you need to be glamorous anymore. You don't need to look your best. I mean, you're
looking pretty glamorous. When I picked you up, I was like, hey, geez, we don't have to get that fancy for the show,
This isn't fancy. It's just bright.
Yeah.
Bright. And bright's good.
Yeah. But you were saying that you essentially just, you were in a bad place. And I think it was your early 60s. Yeah.
Between 60s and 70s. And I started paying attention. I wasn't doing well. And I wasn't feeling good. And you really changed that for me.
Yeah. Well, there was something going on, if you don't mind me bringing it up, if I go back, I mean, obviously the weight played a role. If you don't mind me, obviously, by the way, you brought it up.
I think it played a big role.
But it played a big role for sure, and there was an emotional base to that, I think, and a stress base and all that stuff.
Well, my sister was very sick, and I was taking care of her, and she would tell me I needed to lose some weight all the
That's
time.
good. Sisters will do that, won't they?
Yeah, she'd tell me, and I'd say, oh, you think it's so easy.
Right.
I just never got anywhere with what I was trying.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You have to get a mindset, and if you're going to do something like that, you've got to start listening and getting it right.
Yeah. Well, then you went through something, and I don't even know if you fully appreciate this, but you went through something and started to develop some pulmonary disease, some lung disease, which you've never been a smoker, just for the listeners. Minimal drinker. I know we have fun and banter and, whatever, if we have dinner.
2 is usually my limit.
2. I'd like to see you have 2. Well, you haven't had 2 in a long time, Mama. Let's be straight. But no, but when I'm saying in life, you were not drinking very much or anything like that, and you're very active and stuff like that. And then
I love sports. I love.
But you never had any.
Yeah.
You never had any lung history. Never any. And never smoking. Never any exposures that were known, and you slowly develop some breathing issues. And again, for the listeners, you developed what's called pulmonary fibrosis, which is basically a scarring and a hardening of the interstitial and of the pulmonary space. And so basically your lungs don't move well, so you don't exchange oxygen well. And we didn't really know why, and
you don't think the blood clot that I had in my lung?
No, not at all. Yeah.
Okay.
But that was minimal. And there's something there, but it was an evolution because it was your whole pulmonary tree. And, there's this is anecdotal. Like, we don't obviously know, it's very hard to test, but I firmly believe that it was related to your school teaching, where you're around all this dust and old schools and
teaching
inner
in
city.
Detroit for sure.
And then you live next to a factory in that condo. And shame on me 30 years ago, I guess, but I wasn't, in tune like I am now and thinking like I do, the last few decades and that. But I can remember going to your condo, and you would have like black, if your window was open, you'd have like black.
I always had my windows open there. I just needed, I need fresh air. It's just the way I am. In the morning, I get up, I want to open the door. I don't care what time of year it is. I just want some fresh air in the house.
Yeah, yeah. But you would have soot, like that black soot.
I did.
And you lived there 20 years, right? Some years like that. So
Yeah.
I believe that was a big consequence, because usually it's genetic. You can get pulmonary fibrosis from genetics, but most people get it from environmental exposures, and again, the lung hardens, and you don't exchange oxygen well. So you found yourself right on oxygen most of the time, almost 24/7.
I had to carry it with me. I couldn't walk very far.
Right.
And my breathing, I still have voice change. I don't,
Well, I thought that was just a little sexy thing you were doing with age.
No, I have. I get like a frog in my throat or croaking, like I don't know. But
Well, we'll deal with that the next
at
visit.
least I'm not on oxygen anymore.
Right.
And that's
So,
a
right.
big thing.
Right. So, and so what did we do? What do we do, and how did we get there? Well, I don't even think you know. Like, I don't know
I
what
just
you did.
did what you told
You just listened. I said, show up to the office every week. We're doing stuff every week. But we slowly, and it took truthfully, what, it'd take a good year and a half, 2 years.
Oh, for sure.
No, but to literally where you didn't need oxygen.
Oh, I think I was on it probably a year and a half at least.
No, but like when we got you off,
okay.
it took a while before you fully got off.
Right, exactly.
And it was a combination, and I think my point to the listeners and stuff that just, it wasn't one thing. It was like a lifestyle thing, right? And we just kind
But
of
I was under tremendous stress prior to that.
Yeah.
And I just knew my health wasn't good when my sister was sick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was having trouble just getting to the hospital and getting to see her and walking, and I was having breathing issues.
Yeah. But by using, the GLP-1, which is, you don't even know, it's a shot you get every week. So it's a peptide shot. It actually helps your insulin resistance, helps feeling fuller. We use, by the way, you're not special. We use this. We have thousands of patients in the office using these.
Well, whatever you did, it was magic. It worked.
Well, yeah. So we started reversing your insulin resistance. We started reversing, your kind of, if you will, a little bit pre-diabetes, if you will. And because of the satiety, meaning fullness, and because of that, you start losing weight. But also, and this is where I give you kudos, and really, because this is the thing that first of all, an 80-year-old never will do. A 70-year-old mostly will never do. You started doing it. I believe it was in your late 60s, obviously earlier too, but you started really exercising. Right?
I started listening, and I always played games and had fun. Skating when I was young, roller skating, tennis, racquetball a little bit when I was married to your dad. Just anything fun. Skiing, I love skiing. But movement. I had dropped that for a while.
Yeah.
When my sister was sick, I wasn't doing those things. And you can't be sedentary. I believe that.
Well, you started swimming like 3 days a week or more.
At least for a few years now.
Yeah, and what, the last few years too, you lift some weights, go to the gym, trainer. By the way, you still have that trainer? No, you kicked him to the curb. But what did he tell you?
It wasn't him.
Oh, her, excuse me. But didn't she tell you that you were?
She said you were.
Hey.
I was amazingly strong for my age. She
Absolutely,
said.
Yeah.
And
what did I say? You're welcome. No, but you told me that, and you were truly lifting weights, like, doing squats, you still doing planks, by the way.
I do these all the time. It's in my life now. I have to every day. I got up this morning, was achy. aching all over from swimming. I really was doing a lot of jumping in the pool and just really working out. And when I got up this morning, I'm like, I'm all stiff. I hurt. I got out of bed, did a few squats, did some movement, planks, a couple different things.
And for the record, she'll drop and give you
I
a plank.
will give you planks anytime of
She'll
day.
give you a plank. It's a little embarrassing, but I'll show you right now. We've had parties at the house, people over. Oh, I can do. She'll cook. You can, Mom, showing one squat's fine. You want to put out 20? I'll show you 20 squats right here. So, but that says a lot because, by the way, this is very, very important. Most people, their demise in their 7th, 8th decade, most people is due to frailty, meaning loss of muscle, loss of bone, which goes with balance. Because if you're losing muscle and bone, you're not that active. Now you, which we can mention and talk about, I've had you on hormone replacement for like 20 years.
And that is magic.
It is magic. It keeps a sharp brain, a sharp bone, built bone, strong bone, muscles. It stimulates,
Except one of those darn muscles moved down to the wrong place.
Yeah, well, that's lifting too heavy of weights there, lady. We'll have to talk about that. But yeah, you can, at any age, you can tear muscles. This happens. You know what I mean? No, but it's the signal or the cofactor that you need when you lift weights is to have like testosterone on board, DHEA on board, which is, in your bioidentical hormone cream. I do believe that's laid a big foundation for you for the last few decades. That's why I'm such an advocate for hormone replacement. It's not going to save lives. It's going to help quality of lives, and it's going to help us extend life. And I say that because literally, it's like over 30% of people that actually fall, die.
Everyone I know falls. I mean, all people my age are
When's
falling.
the last time you fell?
When I accidentally sprayed Pledge on my kitchen
you did?
floor. I put Pledge
What
on
the
a
hell
rag and I was going to dust.
When was this? Did you really fall over?
Oh, yeah. I bruised my whole arm.
Oh, shoot.
I stepped on the floor. I didn't know it got on the floor.
Who puts Pledge on the floor?
No, I was spraying it on a cloth and it got on the floor.
Gotcha.
And I slipped on the kitchen floor. And that was about 2 years ago. But yeah.
Well,
Falling is that wasn't a kind of fall most ladies have. Ladies have falling when they're going up and down stairs.
ladies and men all the time. I mean, it's again, so your balance is in your cerebellum and is in the back of the brain, and that is signaling your inner ear and your balance mechanism there. But also you have to have the strength, the muscle coordination, the movement, the flexibility, the response. The better your brain is, the better that strength is. And it's that old saying, if you don't, move it, you lose it. And you're doing those things with the building
my
blocks.
legs are strong.
Yeah.
They are.
Take it easy. Take it easy. Next thing you know, you'd be dropping down here giving us squats,
I get on the floor. I do my leg exercise. I bike ride with my legs up in the air on the floor. I do anything to get those legs moving and strong. Up and down out of a chair. Up and down, up and down.
Well, I have my patients over the age of 60 actually working on two things. Usually we have this conversation. That is, make sure you can get up off the ground. By the way, don't be trying this because
I can do that.
Without assistance though, without your arms.
Without my arms?
Yes, that's a good sign of not just strength but flexibility and all that. You might have to practice that, But again, this is 60 and up. At usually 70s, it's like maybe one arm assistance. But
I didn't used to be able to get up until I held onto the wall or something.
Until you crawled up. Yes. Yeah, but that says a lot. If people work on that, if people work on how well they can get up off the floor. Okay, it sounds silly, but that is a huge thing.
Well, I didn't used to be able to do it, and I'm proud to say I can.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So,
but I do use arms.
Well, maybe we'll work on where you could start practicing just one in a safe environment, not with Pledge on the floor. That might be good. So how does it feel, by the way, to be your age and, still be hit on?
I don't get hit on. I have a couple.
The bagel guy.
Oh my gosh, you still remember that?
Hell yeah, I remember that. I mean, shit. Excuse me, but you know, you called me up and you're like, this guy was driving me nuts, man.
Are you single? Yeah. I'm single too.
Yeah. Yeah, well, no, but no, I thought I was actually flattered for you, and I thought that was pretty awesome, and but your comment back to him, it does need to be public. Your comment back to him, because he said, "You're so pretty." What? You're from Sweden or something?
Oh, he
or
asked
where are you
me
from?
what country I was from. What country are you from? I said, this country.
No, and they said, "What language you speak?" The one coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah. By the way, that date was going nowhere.
No, he wasn't going anywhere.
Oh, okay. He had no chance, huh?
No, not at all. And he had me laughing so much. I mean, it was so funny to be hit on when you're an old lady.
Well, hey, you could have. What did I tell you to do? You could go and have coffee with him.
No, he wasn't even a coffee.
No, he wasn't
not
worth
even
that.
a coffee
No,
date.
I'm sorry. I hope the guy's not listening. Anyway, poor guy. But
I do have a couple married men friends at the pool that I really enjoy talking to.
Yeah, that's fun. I know there's a guy there that he's always rolling up on you.
He said I look good with my clothes on.
Whoa. Jeez.
He sees me in the pool, and then I come walking out. He said, "Whoa, you look really good with clothes on."
Not sure. Did you say I don't know how to take that?
No, I just laughed. He's so funny.
Oh, yeah. That's great, though. Good. So that's the beauty, though, of age, right? You still laugh.
Oh, my goodness. I laugh. Do you know I laugh with people in grocery stores, which I never did before. I never talked to people in line. I actually have a good time at the grocery store. If I'm waiting in a line, I usually end up talking to somebody. And I never did that, ever.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
I talked to a lady. I thought she was older than me, but she wasn't. She was in her 70s, and I'm like, whoa, you're lucky.
Yeah. Oh, you're lucky to be in your 70s? That young little whippersnapper? Yeah. Well, that does happen. But, so a couple things is this. I just want to, in a serious note, hit upon, we've done a lot for you in the practice. So you're on hormone replacement. We're using the GLP-1 stuff for, maintenance of blood sugar and maintenance of weight, which I think is first of all, the studies support that it's literally a life, changer. You're talking about 30% or higher reductions in cardiovascular disease. There's studies on now dementia. They're studying it now, by the way, for...
That's what I care a lot about. I don't want this to go.
It's not going. That I can tell. Put it this way, I have never even thought about testing you cognitively.
Oh, I remember one time you said we have a test at the office I could give you.
Well, we do. We do. The WAVI brain fitness test which is an EEG, which would look at your brain speed. But here's the thing I do want to share with you. I have no big concern with you, but you get all the therapies we would do to correct it. So you're getting IV therapies.
And
you're
do
getting
some
hormone
therapies
therapy.
at home. I do my games. I keep busy.
Well, and you read a lot.
Oh, I read. Every day I read. Yeah. I love to read.
Yeah, so you're stimulating the brain. Again, you don't use it, you lose it. You're using that thing. But you're getting these therapies, and I wrote some down just to remind myself here about, IV therapies and that. Is there any one that when you've got them, and even if it's been 1 or 2 times an IV or something, or you've really had wow, that really made a difference. I feel way better this week, or,
I just feel way better every day.
Oh, okay. So they all work. It is
a combination, Jim. I just feel so grateful to you for all the help you've given me with my health, because I definitely was on a downhill.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you could share, what do you think was the vector? Because I think it's mindset first, and then but what do you think was the vector, or the part that kind of crossed you into, if you will, where, hey, you can be better. Things can get better and can be better.
Well, for me, the big motivator was losing weight, and it was hard, and it's always going to be hard to not just have whatever you want to have, mm-hmm. and kind of that's what I always did. But You can't do that. You can't eat like that. You have to be careful. And the rewards are just out. I mean, my life is so much better. It's so much better. I feel good every day, and I thank God every day and every night. I'm so grateful.
What is your like daily routine? I mean, I know you don't have some exact, but
that's the real joy of. I mean,
you do whatever the hell you want, and if I don't want to go out, yeah, right. You've already told me that.
Most days, exactly. Most days, I don't have, but you kind of get a pattern. I'm usually up by 7, sometimes 6:30 in the morning, and then I make my coffee and I take my time to have. I read some. I have my coffee. Read devotions. I thank the Lord that I'm awake and doing well. And then I start to think about my day. I plan it.
That's good.
And usually by 10:30, I'm at the pool, and I go swimming. I do some exercises. If I'm not going swimming early in the morning, I do my floor exercises my squats and my planks, and rev up my day.
Rev it up. And okay, so I like this. Okay.
And then I've got household chores. I mean,
you're fully, I mean, for the audience, just so you know, this is not like I've put some, all this catered to you. You don't have a bunch of assistants coming over and doing every shopping for you. Yeah, you're fully independent.
Oh, it's important to go to the grocery store. It is. Yeah. I mean, because honestly, like I said, I talk to people. I never did that. You miss out. There's advantages to being old. You do things that you didn't do when you were younger. And I just find it's fun to talk to people. Mm-hmm. And I just feel so fortunate.
So you told us how you rev up. How do you rev down?
Then I'm either going to the grocery store or I'm doing a little house cleaning. I might put a load of washing in. For sure going to go shopping at TJ Maxx and look around. And
spend some money.
But not necessarily. I just out there doing my thing. Might make a couple stops. Don't go to the Social Security office. You'll be there for 2 hours. Waiting, even if you have an appointment.
Even if you have an appointment, take a seat, lady. We don't care your age or whatever. Yeah.
I don't have a lot of patience for just sitting like that. I should have taken something to do, but I didn't.
Okay.
I thought I had an appointment.
Gotcha. Do you have any evening, like nighttime routine or anything that you do?
I have my iPad, which I have tons of games. I have books on my iPad that I read every night. I read books every week, probably 3 books a week at least. Mm-hmm. Just
3 books a week?
I don't watch.
3 books a week?
Usually.
Wow. Jeez.
And I don't.
Are they the same book?
It's on my tablet.
I do have to be concerned about your brain? Is it? No,
I buy books on my tablet. All kinds of. I like, mysteries, suspense. I like actual murders.
Okay.
I read about those things. I read the Bible. I read all kinds of things. Fiction. I like fiction.
Gotcha.
But reading has always been my favorite thing.
Oh, yeah. No,
I'm not a TV watcher.
Do you remember when I went to Barnes & Noble, the bookstore, and I'm like, I don't know what it could have been Mother's Day, could have been your birthday, could have been whatever, and I'm like, I'm going to get a bunch of books, and I was taking some pictures of like, you're like, read that, have that, read that, already read that. I've read all these. You're like, I just gave up. I think I just bought you a gift card or something.
You did.
Like, she's read this whole bookstore.
Right. And I don't buy actual books anymore. I read online, but it's good because I belong to a book club, and you get them much cheaper. And
So is there anything that you would, it's been something still on your bucket list, say, or something that you still want to do, or you still like wish, or by the way, it could be just like something even next year you want to do, or this year,
are you
or whatever.
Kidding? My
and
favorite
I'm taking notes. Okay.
My favorite thing.
I'm going to tell your other sons.
Going to Florida is my winter Florida time. Is so important to me. I love to get away, and the last few years I've stayed with my brother and his wife, and we have so much fun.
Yeah.
That's the best. January and February to get away for a couple months.
Yeah.
Is wonderful.
So you could help a lot of people right now by one thing that just came to mind because you brought up Florida. Could you share with us your pickleball experience? Well, the reason I bring this up is because of this. Do you know that is, at least in the Midwest, it is the #1 orthopedic injury accident visits, if you will, to the orthopedics is due to pickleball.
Thought that I tried this a year ago in Florida. I wanted to play pickleball. My brother's a pickleball player. Many of my girlfriends have played pickleball and say it's so much fun. And I knew it would be because I love tennis.
Yeah.
So my brother takes me out on the court with a few friends, and we're hitting the ball back and forth. And I probably was only on the court 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Went to get a low shot and went right down. And I hit my head and my arm. I injured my shoulder. And I was grateful I didn't break anything. But I thought, I might not be able to do this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, your brain wasn't as fast for that as that ball, right?
Well, pickleball is so different because it doesn't come up, the bounce. It hits, and it was very low, and I thought I could bend over and get it. Well, I bent very far over and just toppled over.
You were lucky. You were definitely lucky.
And I had the biggest bruise on my head, and it went down through my eye and all down my face. But at least I didn't break anything.
You didn't break anything, and you tried.
And I tried it, and I thought, maybe this isn't the thing to do. I better stick to my swimming.
Swimming, weights, gym.
God, I played golf with you last year.
Yeah. And for the record, man, you can hit off the tee box 100 yards still at 84 years old. I'm not making this up. And one time you hit it so far, I was like, no, I didn't. We lost it. I was like,
I know. But I only use 2 clubs. I don't need all those clubs.
Whatever. Yeah, it's a bunch of, it's over. All those clubs are overrated. Don't worry.
But it was so much fun. I was so happy I could play.
Yeah. No, you play great golf, man. You have a great swing. You hit the ball still really well. Yeah.
Well, your father gave me some pointers on that.
I'm sure. Yeah. and we'll be doing it again.
I hope so.
We will definitely be doing it again.
Those are the kind of dreams I have. I just want to go out there and keep doing things.
Keep playing golf. Yeah. Yeah. Go. That's simplicity, but the point would be you have to be, that doesn't just happen. Like, I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. I wish, right? You worked hard to get here in your 8th decade.
Well, it doesn't seem hard now because it's in the past.
Right. Yeah, true. Yeah, but
you got to keep it up.
You got to keep it up. You got to keep moving. You got to keep your weight in check. You got to keep active. You got to, and I can't stress enough to the audience, you got to keep muscle, you got to keep bone, and you got to keep your cardiovascular health enough, whether that's keeping your weight down or just being, because otherwise you will show up where you don't want to be in your 7th, 8th decade and have some health issues that then compromise your happiness.
Well, you never know what's going to come ahead. You just don't. I mean, you can live the cleanest, best life in the world and still come up with something. I mean, we don't know. But we have to do our part.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you sure have helped me.
Yeah. Oh, you said that 5 times. I said I'd pay you $20 for one time, not 5 times.
Well, you've helped me so much. I'm so grateful.
So I have this like little black book segment that I do. You don't even know this. I didn't prep you on any of this, did I? So this is like studies, and these are my thoughts, and these are kind of stuff that I get into sometimes, and that I've done throughout the years. Got a couple of these. Okay. So I'm just going to page here, and you just tell me to stop, and I'll read something, and we'll talk about it for a second. And if it's ridiculous, then we won't. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Well, I've already covered this a lot on the podcast, so we can. It's the top 10 causes of death and genetic influences. And we talk about this on the podcast a lot because of how to prevent, heart disease, how to prevent cancer.
My parents both had heart issues.
Mm-hmm. And your brother.
Oh, my brother also, yes.
Yeah, he had, in his 30s, his first heart attack, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, so because in our practice, we always, I just do this with you. I don't explain it. I'm like, you don't have a choice, right? You know what I mean? And the thing is,
I put my life in your hands because for my health, because I do trust that you've done some things already for me that are amazing.
Well, yeah, and as long as you keep paying your bill, we're going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That bill, by the way, your balance has gotten huge. But anyway, so but we do target these things in true prevention because if we think in the practice about patients, even beyond what they think about, most people just think about what's going on right now. We think about, number one cause of death is heart disease. Number two is cancer. Number three is accidents or injuries. And there's the four horsemen, which is like heart, cancer, diabetes, and dementia. And you brought up being worried about your brain, but look what you've done to keep your brain good. But that's what this we won't go into all the statistics and percentages of that, but it's every 12 seconds in America someone dies. I know it's scary, isn't it? But you can have a good health span by working on these things and by thinking that way with a provider and a practitioner, and you're sitting in front of one.
And I'm so fortunate.
Yeah. So any other things that you would like to share, in just, hey, your knowledge, experience in life, and of course, gratitude's huge. We brought it up right in the beginning, and I do give you, Mom, major credit for that. I'm not just saying this, and here we're publicly speaking, but I do all the time to you is that is 100%. You taught me a lot and laid a foundation of a lot of things for me that I didn't. I was pretty shitty to you for a while. When I was younger, you just, what did you say?
You weren't shitty.
No, but you just think of yourself always. But as time goes on and you reflect back, and here on Mother's Day, I do want to say thank you. I love you tons.
I love you too.
And you 100% laid a foundation in many things for me, and probably particularly just goodness, spirituality, goodness, gratitude, doing the right thing, and really focus on being happy. And we always talk about that in our family. And people that know you and you touch, they're like, man, your mom is so happy. She's so fun to be around.
I feel happy. And I've credit to you because I don't think as a younger person I was that happy. I wasn't even, but I wake up every day feeling pretty happy.
Pretty even.
Like I don't have days where I'm whatever. I don't know.
No, I know. Right.
I don't get down like I used to when I was younger. I don't know why. What's changed?
Yeah. Well, it's probably many things, but I would call it life in the balance. And if we have that balance of many things, like you have experience.
And this is a really good time if you have good health and you are taking care of yourself and doing right things. It is a good time to be old. I mean, it is if you're having fun still and you're healthy. Health is everything, and every day of your life you have to thank the Lord for that.
Yeah, amen. I love it.
Really.
Love it. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up there because, I can't end on a better note than that.
No, you can't.
So this is Dr. Lewerenz. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
A pleasure to have you. And see, this wasn't that bad.
Don't worry about my bill.
Okay. I won't worry about it. I'll let it go. I'll talk to the manager. I know her pretty well. But no, thank you for coming, and thank you for, I know this was a little bit under duress.
Well,
and,
yeah.
It wasn't that hard, was it?
No.
Yeah, and you didn't even need a shot. You didn't even need a shot. Anyway, we'll get that after. We'll get that in a minute. Don't worry. But anyway, thank you very much for joining us here on the Deep Six podcast. And I think if there's one big message to just in this to resonate with you is just be grateful. Be grateful you're here. Enjoy things around you. Realize in some way, even simple ways, you're blessed. And we're blessed to have you listen. So this is Dr. Lewerenz from the Deep Six. Be well.